Good afternoon, everyone. To all of you, thank you. Thank you. This day would not be possible without the outside mobilization of so many great green activists across the country. Your organizations, whether it's environmental groups or labor unions or entrepreneurship, whatever it is, you made this all happen. Thank you. And for this president who signed the Inflation Reduction Act 1 year ago today, this president not only made history, he made progress on one of the most pressing challenges of our time. June Kang from the IBEW, Apprentice, this is what the president's initiative is about. Secretary Vilsack and Administrator Regan spoke so beautifully about various aspects of this legislation. And Scott Stracek will talk, and an entrepreneur will talk about all that. So it reaches across our entire economy. And thank you to the visionary leadership of Leader Chuck Schumer passing this important. Thank you, Mr. Leader. And of course, the unity of the Democrats in the House and in the Senate, and the persistence again of the outside mobilization. It just simply would not have happened with all of you. So give yourselves a hand there. Our inside maneuvering, as I said, can only be as effective as possible without the force of outside mobilization. Together, we have enacted a law that is forging America's healthier, cleaner, fairer future. With the stroke of President Biden's pen today, 1 year ago today, we have achieved a monumental victory for America's families. The President, Mr. President, the Inflation Reduction Act fits comfortably among many landmark laws that bear your signature and your leadership. More on that in a moment. First, though, I want to talk about the IRA. This is such a remarkable accomplishment for our country. At a time when our thoughts and prayers with the people of Maui and so many communities are battling devastating disasters, there's no more urgent task than saving our planet. This is not new to our president. Mr. President, this is your day. This is your day. Nearly 4 decades ago, Mr. President introduced the first climate bill in the Senate. 1986, before I was in Congress. You were already here.
I was already a senior member.
Calling on the administration to research, develop, and implement a coordinated national strategy on global climate. And you have been relentless, Mr. President, ever since. So it's fitting that with the President's leadership and his signature, we delivered $370 billion investment to combat the climate crisis, the biggest climate action in history. And we all want to thank the President for making all the difference in the world with an agenda of diversity, inclusion, innovation, and justice, always for the children. As we all know, the climate crisis is a health issue. Clean air, clean water for our children, an economic issue, good paying jobs and ensuring America's preeminence in the clean energy future, a global security issue to prevent conflict springing from competition for resources and habitat, springing from disasters and migration that follows all of that. A moral issue, if you believe as I do that this planet is God's creation, we have a moral responsibility to be good stewards of it. But even if you don't, we can all agree we have a moral obligation to ensure strong, healthy, resilient communities for future generations. I think that's an applause line. At a time, again, in our country is facing so many challenges and uncertainties, right now our families are feeling the Inflation Reduction Act's impact. At long last, Medicare will soon have the power to negotiate for the price of negotiating drugs. Seniors can get life-saving insulin for just $35 a month. As you know, Mr. Leader, you were so instrumental in making this happen. It was $500 or $600 a month before this legislation. Now $35 a month for seniors. And 15 million Americans are saving an average of $800 per year. That's each. A family of four, around $3,000 on their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act exchanges, which were extended in this legislation. As Speaker, then, it was my profound privilege last year to gavel down the historic vote on the Inflation Reduction Act in the House. And it was a thrill to watch from the Speaker's chair there so many House Democrats quite literally jumping for joy. Right, Mr. Meeks? Ms. Moore? Knowing how transformative these initiatives will be for America's families. We're all so proud. I'm going to boast about the House. You'll boast about the Senate.
Okay.
I can encourage you to do that. I know you're shy about it all, but our Select Committee on the Climate Crisis, led by Kathy Castor, was recognized for developing a groundbreaking foundation laying roadmap for climate action. Many of the recommendations now in the law, including clean energy tax credits, were present in that legislation. You know that, Mr. Markey, because you did a similar thing in the earlier Congress. Thank you for your leadership. That's an applause line. We're so proud of the work of Richie Neal and Mike Thompson for having those tax credits in the bill, and Frank Pallone from the Energy and Commerce Committee, see Doris Metzry from that committee as well, and all of theirs, and so many members of our House Democratic Caucus who helped make this law proper. Now let's hear it for the House Democrats. Debbie's on the committee, so someone. I want to tip my hat to Sheldon Whitehouse. Relentless, persistent, just there, whether it's a COP meeting, wherever it happens to be, or just a small little press conference that we might be having. He is always there, and I thank him for his persistent leadership, and so many others in the Senate on this important issue. So here we are, gathered here today, 1 year later. Seems like yesterday, doesn't it, Jeff? Seems like yesterday when you came in with your plot. It's a secret plot. Okay, now let me just put this in this perspective. As I said, this is the president's day. He started in 1986. He has been relentless, persistent, insistent, and the rest to make 1 year ago today happen. But as we celebrate this, we have to celebrate his tremendous leadership to save the planet, because it's about health, it's about jobs, it's about security, it's about our values. But it happens also it's a monumental victory for America's families, and it fits comfortably among many landmark laws that bear the president's signature, but more importantly, his leadership. We propelled America from the depths of the pandemic with the American Rescue Plan. We are rebuilding communities across the country with good-paying union jobs. With a bipartisan infrastructure law. We're caring for our heroic veterans with the PACT Act, which is an environmental issue when you deal with burn pits, but more importantly, dealing with our veterans' health. John Peel, John Stewart, thank you. We're powering decades of discovery and manufacturing with our CHIPS and Science Act, and so much more. Together, working together, the Biden-Harris administration Senate Democrats, led by the great Chuck Schumer. You'll get a chance to applaud him, but you can do it again. And House Democrats, led by our magnificent new leader, Hakeem Jeffries. We'll continue fighting for our agenda, right? And that agenda of growing the middle class, of meeting the kitchen table concerns of working families, and advancing, as the administrator and the secretary said earlier, fairness, inclusion, justice for all. Indeed, under the leadership of you, Mr. President, you'll tell them what I said, right? Thank you for your leadership for a bright future for America. God bless you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President, and God bless America. And now it is my honor if we were at the Capitol, I would have said it's my distinct honor and personal privilege to introduce the great leader of the United States Senate. Aren't we proud of all the work that Chuck Schumer did to make today possible?